Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about my side hustle of SqWAYre tools. It's my tool line. I'm doing a little bit of work over there. I've got some new tools up on the site and I've got some in development to add. So go check it out if you're not familiar. But this video is going to talk about this one tool in particular that I invented last year. It's called the SqWAYre X. This was always the prototype version of it, and I finally am getting around to making the next step. So first I'll tell you what the tool does. It's a depth finder basically. I found I wanted to measure the height of the frets of the guitar off the body, and I didn't have anything that could reach it, and so this way I could put that out and get my height. It comes in handy for a lot of different little types of measurements that I wanted to do. The original prototype versions like this one are made from acrylic, and they have this really kind of cool feature where the ruler just sort of stays in place, which is very cool, but it's difficult to make them work properly, and they do stand the potential to wear out, and I always thought I could do something a little bit better than the acrylic. So that's what we're working on today. I am reintroducing the SqWAYre X in a more sort of bespoke version that uses thumb screws instead of that sort of spring-loaded mechanism I had created to make it work. So check it out. Here's how I made it. This story starts at send, cut, send again, like a lot of my stories nowadays. So I took my original digital drawings and I had them cut out just the profile and drill the holes on their laser cutter of some of the shapes. So then I could take those parts back, tap the holes that I needed to tap, and machine out the slots for the rulers, because that's a different type of process. And I also wanted to put my logo on it, of course. So I set up this sort of milling jig and experimented and failed and started to succeed with the process of milling aluminum. I'm still making the logo a little bit too deep, I think. You want it to be deep enough to cut so it doesn't fade away if there's a slight imperfection. You know, it's these thousandths of an inch type thing. And then, like I said, I did have to tap these holes, which was pretty quick to do. And then also took a little bit of trial and error here to get the feeds and speeds right. Here you can see I am going way too fast and way too deep, and I make a mess of this one before I figured out how to really slow it down and take 3 passes instead of 2. In this one, I think I tried to do it in 1. And I could get a much cleaner finish, which you'll see in a second. So this was a really fun process for me to get better at CNCing and machining, and this is also taking steps towards some other things that I want to do at my workshop on my CNC in the process of making guitars. So kind of using this as an excuse to experiment with practicing, machining out some of my own hardware. And here you can see that stack of blue is a stack of quarters that I taped up to just make it a little bit easier for me to set these up level at the top of the vise there, and sped the process up for me a little bit. And once I was satisfied with my cut, and you can see I actually have the cut taper all the way down the edge of the part. So here I'm a little bit narrow, and then I go back and fix it and get it just right. And watch this last pass, it goes down and it just skims the edge of the block outside of the slot to just make sure everything's all nice and lined up and perfect. And there you go, you can see that now our ruler's fitting in nice. I'm comfortable with the tolerances, and it's time to start mass producing them. So while the CNC is cutting slots, I am assembling the pieces. I knew that I lacked the patience, and I didn't want to have to charge for the time to bring these back to a mirror polish, but I did want to put the effort into giving them a nice finish. So we got up to about 2,000 grit before I buffed them out, and I think the finish looks really good. It's not perfect, but it's kind of pretty. Of course, with those brass knobs on there, I have to put the finish logo side down in the case, or I could make the back of the case thicker, but I don't want to do that, so we'll just packaging it like it is for now. And it still works as intended. You just have to turn the little knob to make your adjustments instead of just pushing up and down. So there is a small batch of these currently in stock at sqwaretools.com. Go check it out if you're interested. And I also wanted to point out that this video is not sponsored by sendcutsend.com, but I want to thank them for existing, because it is because of that company that it's really opened up a lot of doors for me, and opened some limitations for me to explore my ideas. And it's just a great service. I really dig them, and I wanted you to know about them. And I did do a video for them in the past that earned me this coupon code 15SWAY all the way to save 15% off your work over there at Send Cut Send, so you can go use that. It still works. And thanks, guys. All right, thank you very much. And check out, I have a couple other tools that are in stock now too. There's a couple other videos going up at the same time as this. All right, be good.